All right, so this is going to be a spoiler review for A Memory of Light, and I guess some of the series in general. I'm going to talk about it. So this is your last chance to turn off the video. One time I was standing on this public transit, and this guy was talking to his friend about Wheel of Time. He just literally started with, "Oh yeah, Wheel of Time." The ending was a little bit, and I had to shout at him while plugging my ears, because like he was talking really loudly. I almost spoiled a 14-book series just by some asshole on the bus or SkyTrain or whatever. And so I was like, you know, man, like I was only on book 7. So spoilers, yeah, don't get spoiled. Let's talk about the Wheel of Time, mostly book 14. Okay, so first off, what's up with the power levels? Like at the end there, Grendel, you know, she's not like, I think they describe Grendel as more of a compulsion kind of person. Like that's her talent, you know, that she's really good at compulsion, really. She's not that strong in the power, because guys who have the one power are stronger than women. That's like the thing. But at the end there, she's taking on Cadsuane, Olivia, the Wise Ones, and Aviendha. And I'm just like, how is that possible? How are you taking on like 5 of the best channelers? Like I remember the Wise Ones weren't that strong in the power, but you're going up against like some of the book even says she's going up against the 5 strongest users of the power that are in the light. And then Grendel only has some compulsed people behind her that I guess she's drawing off of. I don't know if you can compulse someone to do something. I don't know if you can compulse them to kill people with the power. You can compulse someone to fight for you and stab and kill, but I don't know if you can compulse someone to use the one power. They never really established that, so I don't know if Grendel's linking the couple of Aes Sedai that she took at the end there, but it just felt like the power levels were really off. Like, you know, Grendel's the sort of like sneaky kind of like, I'm into pretty things, and all of a sudden she's like one of the biggest brawlers at the end there. And wouldn't have it made sense for Aviendha just to hit her with Balefire, because they set up earlier in the book that Aviendha's like, Cadsuane's like, don't use Balefire, okay? And then Aviendha's like, I won't. And then, but if she were to use Balefire on Grendel, she would be gone from the pattern. She wouldn't have taken those compulsed people. Ruark wouldn't be dead, and her legs wouldn't be messed up. Boom. I mean, it's kind of like they set up that Chekhov's gun and they didn't set it off at the end. So that bugged me that Grendel was like really powerful. Also, the whole valley battle was just kind of all over the place, like straight up, like. It started off with, Ituralda's like, okay, let's set up the bramble, let's set up the fire, and then it just got messy, and then they brought in the rogue ale, like the turned ale. They're like, they're very boring because they don't have any, they're just, it's like a last minute element just thrown in there. And I'm okay with that, but then the Darkhounds show up, and then they don't start using Balefire on the Darkhounds. I mean, everyone knows, well, I guess not everyone knows, but Balefire is the only way to kill a Darkhound, and they're just letting them kill everyone. And it got really chaotic and messy at the end there. And then I felt that they really rushed with Padan Fain. He just shows up with Mashadar, and like he's literally like, ha ha ha, I'm here with my turned orcs. And there's like 6 different factions fighting each other, and it just got so messy. And then Matt just stabs him, and it's fine. Like whatever. Like I understand, Perrin was great. Perrin had a really good setup throughout the whole series, the whole conflicting nature of the wolf, the whole choosing Fail or choosing, Rand, and his arc finished completely. But Matt kind of ended when he won the battle, really. And then like, so Padan Fain, I felt like he didn't even need to be there, really. The Darkhounds would have been enough. And what else? Oh, there's so many. Oh yeah, I love that twist in which Ulver is able to summon the Heroes of the Horn, because I completely forgot that Matt technically died at Rudian, and I was just like, that just like completely, utterly like floored me. I had to stop reading and go, holy shit! That scene just like absolutely like slap. You know what I mean? Like when a plot just like spits directly in your face, just slaps you, just straight up. That totally got me. I did not see that coming. That was great. I don't remember who Aravine is. She's the one who betrays Fail. That was a bad twist, but whatever. And what else? Oh man, so many. They had Noel come back there, but he should have looked younger. Oh yeah, I had problems with the Sharons. They're just like, I know they were mentioned by Noel earlier in the books, but besides describing their armor and that the tattooed people can channel, that's all they have. They didn't really go in, you know, like when they introduced Boar of the Wild, I was like, oh my god, who the hell is this guy? And he turns out to be the Forsaken. So I was like, okay, that's cool, but you know, there's no like sub-commanders for him, you know. They didn't even establish the older one. And so the villain, that villain army had no personality whatsoever. Same goes for the Turned Isle, right? So like those two aspects of the army were kind of boring. Same goes for the Trollocs. There's just so many of them. You just sort of glaze over when you describe being killed by the thousands or killing them. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the final Dreadlords and Black Aja that team up with Malkavian. They don't really explain what happens to them. They Andral and Pavara take care of two of them, the one that can track weaves in the steading. But they don't know. They just gloss over the rest of them. I guess they just died, or they just... Because I remember Malkavian, she climbs out of a pile of bodies, so she survived, but I guess the rest of them didn't. But they should have at least, you know... Because the numbers don't match up either, man. Okay, this is the thing that pisses me off. The Sharons, they had about 400 to 500 channelers. They repeat the number 400. I'm guessing they had at least 500, but it went down a little. Let's just say 400 to be even. Now that's the same number of channelers that the Shido had in book, like, what was it, 9 or 8? And book 9. And that means that, okay, if there's 400 Shido channelers, or wise ones, just wise ones, and not all of them obviously are fit for battle, right? Some of them are for healing, some of them are for dreaming. So if we just take like a normal number of 100, that means that there are like 8 other tribes of Isle. So there should be at least 800 wise ones that can channel, and they're not even described in the book. Like, where are they? Like, are they healing? Or are they doing something? Same with the kinswoman. They're completely just utterly and completely absent in this book. I don't know if like, just there's too many characters, I guess, too many aspects, but they're just kind of like not there. You know, they said that they won't fight, but they can like do gateways. They can do, some of them are powerful. They should at least have some there for healing and stuff. I just felt like the light side had a lot more resources. And like, I understand the Black Tower, most of the, yeah, the Black Tower doesn't make sense either. They should have at least like 200 members. And at the end there, when Angel gets rescued by everyone else, there's only about 20 good guys. So it's like 20 good guys plus a couple of Aes Sedai versus like 140. I guess most of them were gone. Tame keeps jumping back and forth, but that means that the Shadow had, you know, at least 100 to 150 Dreadlords in that final battle, but they don't explain what happens to most of them. Like, they explain that Egwene takes over and like she goes OP and she kills 400 of the all of the Sharon channelers are pretty much dead after she does her whole overload thing. But they don't explain where all the other Dreadlords and Black Aja went. They're just sort of, you know, in the battle. There's just too much going on, not enough detail given, I felt. I mean, too much detail in the battle, but not in like where these people are or what they're doing. And like, you know, it was a problem for me in the book. You know, I described in my other review that 60% of the book is battle, but it was a really messy kind of like, we're going to go into the whole detail of who's flanking who's doing this. Also, some characters were just thrown away for the hell of it, like Gareth Byrne and Suan, and the Bashirs, definitely just like kind of like felt like wasting a couple of them. I don't remember what happened to Agilmar. They don't even say what happened to him. See, a lot of characters, they don't get they get shafted. They don't explain, and they don't. What's going to happen with Grendel? I mean, she got compulsed, so I'm guessing they should have had a scene where Cadsuane's like, Avienda, I need to talk with you. You have one of the Forsaken under your compulsion. We're going to learn some stuff, but they don't have that happen. The ending, sure, I like it. It's very similar to Code Geass. Oh shit, I gotta cut that. The ending, I really liked it. I've seen it before in other stuff, like an anime, and a Superman comic book where he fakes his own death so he can live a normal life. So, I mean, I've seen that ending before, but I really liked it. And kind of leaves things open. You know, like, what's going to happen next? This new age is going to happen. I'm trying to think of everything else to say. There's a lot of things. The gay characters, yeah, introduced. That was kind of just a waste because, like, Like, I noticed that too when I was reading all of the Robert Jordan books. I was like, how come there are no gay characters in this world? And it didn't bother me because, like, you know, I guess there's no purpose to have a gay character unless they immediately affect the plot. Because literally almost everyone in this book likes someone else or wants a relationship with someone else, which I don't mind. So there's a purpose. But to just be like, oh, by the way, this guy in the background who we'll never reference again likes men. And she's gay. And that guy's gay too. You didn't notice because, you know, people can be gay. It just felt really cheap, like Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond had the original actor who plays Sulu is gay in real life, so they wanted to make Sulu gay, but not really because they can't sell the movie in China. So they cut out a kiss scene or a hand-holding scene, but they do have an adopted son, and you know the casual viewer will not notice, but it's almost like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. And I felt kind of cheap. Come on, man, if you're gonna have a gay character, just do it all the way. And they could have had Moraine gay, but you know, she had to, oh yeah, she had to be married and in love with Tom Marilyn. When it happened at the end of book 13, I was just like, this is bullshit. I mean, like, they're the only characters that are not together right now. Because literally everyone in book 13 gets the bond moved. Nynaeve gets the bond moved. Egwene and Gawain get the bond moved. Galad and Berelain like each other. Literally everyone that's not paired up is getting paired up with bonds and stuff. And then, like, I guess, like, Moraine's like, oh, I'm going to get bonded too. I didn't like that because they set up that she found out who got Tom's nephew gentled, and he wanted revenge. And they even set that up in an earlier book, you know. He's trying to get out of the game of houses, but she's manipulating him. That's straight down to Moraine's nature. And Tom too. I mean, Tom, he just likes to, he's a traveling gleeman, but he doesn't, but he's got that backstory of the nephew. And I feel that they shouldn't have been together, because the reason why is because it doesn't really change the plot either. It's just something, we're together, we're bonded, I'm your warder, I can watch out for you at the last battle, but he could have done that anyway. It just felt like cheap. I like the usage of Loyal though. Loyal, holy crap, so goosebumps every time he fights. Man, that was good stuff. That was definitely good stuff. I like that. Oh yeah, the other, okay, yeah, we gotta talk about Androl and Pavara. Ooh, I felt they had way too much page time. I know Brandon Sanderson, let's just say that romance is not his forte. It just seemed really cringy. Like in earlier books, when a male channeler and a female channeler bond, it's kind of like, you know, there's like this weird sort of bond, you know, like not all warders and Aes Sedai have relationships. Mostly the green. Some of them do, like Nynaeve and Gawain and Egwene. But, or, you know, Elaine and Rand. But I mean in the sense that, you know, everyone who bonds someone doesn't always be in a relationship. And since Androl and Pavara was set up earlier, but Androl wasn't, they set him up to be like this rich sort of traveler character who isn't strong with the power except for gateways, but he can do something more. He gets way too much page time with her, and trying to add some levity and romance, but it just seemed really cringy. It almost felt like a different book, you know, like we're having death and destruction battles, we're having fate of the world, then we'll cut to these two like having a mind conversation, and he's like, she's really dependable like a piece of leather, and she's all like, did you just compare me to leather? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm socially awkward. It just, oh, it was really cringy. Almost as cringy as Moraine and Tom. This in fact, yeah, Pavara and Androl are more cringy than Tom and Moraine. I just, like, I understand that he's supposed to be this new character, but he had way too much screen time, or page time, you know what I mean. And his scenes were pretty cool, like the dragon lava was over the top. I would have preferred if he learned the Death Gate weave instead, because that makes sense, but instead they wanted to go for like a, he's gonna move rivers of lava and stuff. He became very OP at the end there. It almost felt like a fan fiction character just sort of shoved in there, which was kind of weird. Oh yeah, let's talk about Perrin. Perrin, oh, he had a really good arc. I liked, I didn't like how Slayer just kept popping in the last book. He never finished him off. But Perrin had the best and biggest arc out of all the three. I mean, Rand too, but like Rand had his arc already happen in book 13. But, and I guess Matt didn't really have an arc, so it was really funny because it's like he's always going to be that roguish kind of, you know, I'm going to tear off my palace clothes and go do it the way I want to, which is hilarious. I like that. And Min had a really good sort of, you know, what she's going to do next. So it's really funny because at the end of the book, Rand gets to live and survive, basically. And all three of them, however, are connected and in love with him, but they all have their own thing to do. Evian is a wise one. And Elaine's got twins, but she's got to be the Queen of Andor. She's going to take over Kahayan. And then you got Min, who's going to be with the Xinqian. So it's really funny how they're going to have their own duties, but they can't be with him. But surprised Min didn't have children either. That would have been better, I guess. It would have been hilarious, you know. Rand's like the ultimate deadbeat dad, you know, leaving like 3 women pregnant with his kids but not being there for... See, that would have been hilarious. I think there's some discussion on the internet that Robert Jordan's all into polygamy because the Isle are into sharing and the main romance, but I don't really care about that. I mean, it's just something funny. Min should have had kids too. That would have been funny. All right, I forgot. I totally lost track of time. We're going back to Perrin. Yeah, I really liked... some of the Wolf Dream stuff is really cinematic, and I really like that. But I felt that he should have faced Grendel instead, because, you know, it's like she's like master of the Wolf Dream, so is Malkavian. You know, how come they're not in their element? And instead, Grendel was at the end there fighting all of these powerful weavers, especially Olivia. Olivia's supposed to be like one of the most powerful characters, and she's just like, they're having trouble with Grendel, like of all characters, and then like. So Perrin fighting Slayer definitely was, you know, great. And then there's also the extra stuff of him going into Shayal Ghul and facing the other Forsaken too. I really like that. And they don't really explain what happens to Shai Dal-Haran. He's like the big Madral that's like bigger. I'm guessing he's just a vessel for the Dark One to mess with them, and then they don't need him because he's going to be free. So I guess, yeah. I was like wondering. Also, I didn't remember what happened to Asmodean either. Apparently he got killed in book 4. I didn't even, or 5. I didn't even realize it. But either way, yeah, all the Forsaken, they should have had a little bit more. I guess they had enough closure with all those characters. I mean, Malkavian gets taken by the Xinqian, and Grendel's compulsed so they can use her for like information about the Age of Legends, I guess. And yeah, I definitely like the choice that Rand made, though, to only imprison the Dark One, because it'd be the equivalent of killing Satan, you know. And like, if people can't choose, they don't have free will to do evil, which is, you know, something that, you know, all people need. It's part of free will, right? You can't take away the bad and leave the good. You can't take away the good and leave the bad. But that's what Shaitan wanted to do anyway. So that's why. Oh yeah, I really like the whole cinematic stuff with Rand in the Pit of Doom. That stuff was just really good. I mean, it was just like the whole creating worlds. It kind of reminded me of that Robin Williams movie at the end where he's got to like drag his wife out of their projections of like life or whatever. It felt really, I could envision all of it in my head, and like obviously the TV show is going to have a hell of a time translating that to the small screen, but I had it all there, and it was great. And oh, I really liked that stuff. It was just really good, and that was my favorite part of the book. I know. Oh yeah. Okay. So if you've, I'm going to talk about the 3 emotional moments. One of them almost made me cry. It was Ulver doing the horn and having the hero save him. That was the one I almost cried at. The other 2 were Tam teaching his son to do one-handed sword play. That was really good. Yes, the Rand yelling at Tuon, basically saying that he is Luz Theron Delamon, and just getting all up in her face. A really emotional moment, right? So those 3 were the most emotional moments for me. The oh shit moment, oh my god, so much crap. Just like, I feel like Brandon Sanderson didn't do the best job of the bombshell deaths. I can finally talk about book 5. Book 5 is probably my favorite of all of them. And that's the one where, after having an extensive battle with Couladin and the Shido in Karhayan, Matt is able to take down Couladin and not Rand, which is a nice surprise, because, you know, he's finally stepping up. And then immediately after that, Robert Jordan does the greatest thing. He sets up one of the Dark Friends, and give him some past, and you think, oh, he's gonna be like a big thing, and then freaking Lanfear turns him into a fucking flaming meatball. I'm just like, holy shit. She kills him, goes after Rand, Aviendha, and Min, and then Rand has to tussle with her with the power. He's too weak because he's got the whole chivalry thing, and then Moiraine sacrifices herself. My jaw was on the floor. But then immediately after that, Rand gets pissed and goes, I have to go kill Raven. And I was like, no, stop it. And then when they go fight Raven, more people died. I'm just sitting there, my head's just exploding while I'm reading. I'm just like, stop it, Rand, stop moving, just no. And then, see, that should have been the whole book for Memory of Light, but the choppiness of the narrative kind of like killed that a little bit. There was no ebb and flow. It was kind of just like chop, 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 chop. There's a movie I like, Batman The Dark Knight Returns. It's based off the Frank Miller story. And in the final battle, Batman has to fight Superman. Batman's in a robot suit. But they keep cutting away from that fight scene to Green Arrow and Robin doing stuff. It kind of felt like that for the whole book. You know, I want to have like, give me a block of like cool shit happening and switch it every chapter, but every page switched, or every paragraph even. It just felt really uneven. So when they did have the big character deaths, sometimes they didn't register, you know, because sometimes they died in stupid ways, like Suan, Gareth off screen, the Bashairs off screen, you know, just like, obviously the duels, they kept those in. Those were the sweetest parts, like Gawain, Galad, you know, Lan. Oh my god, some of those scenes had me like, but I felt some of the character deaths could have been a little bit more powerful if he maybe had a little bit more pacing. That's just my opinion, but like, I guess he wasn't trying to go, I guess he wasn't trying to build up any like mood, I guess, you know, like when you're reading book 5, a big battle takes a lot out of you. They think that's the climax, and then more climax, and then more climax, and then more. It sort of builds up to a huge crescendo. And at the end there, Raven almost had Rand until Nynaeve showed up, and she was able to, you know, save him. But I felt like this book didn't have, it did have ebb and flow with the battle a little, but not enough. Like, it was mostly Shadow just pounding them for most of the book, the battle, and then Matt running away, and then Matt trying to like fix everything, and then we won. And there's some small amounts I love, like the Hinderstrap stuff was so cool. But yeah, there's some elements that are just missing. Like, where are the kinswomen? Where are all the Wise One channelers? Where, like, I think they said, one of the books earlier said that most of the Windfinders got poisoned by a sleep potion or something. So only some of them were there, and they're there for the finale with the Bowl of the Winds. So, but the, you know, the Windfinders were never my most interesting part of the book. And so yeah, some characters just missing, you know, just straight up, like, and like elements, I'm just like sitting there going, huh. So there's a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of this book that just sort of like is thrown at you. Character deaths are thrown at you. Sharon Army thrown at you. Evil Isle thrown at you. Some characters are missing. They're just not there. These characters are here. They're dating now. Like, there's a lot of stuff just thrown at you, and you're kind of like, whoa. And but overall, yeah, Memory of Light. Overall, I still enjoyed the book immensely. I mean, because of the Rand stuff, the battle, and then I felt Padan Fain was just sort of there. That was too rushed. Yeah, so some elements of the book feel rushed. Like the whole battle in the valley is rushed and chaotic, and it just feels like you can't really get a bearing of what's going on. Because apparently the Dark One is trying to put like a storm in there, but the Windfinders are using the Bowl of the Winds to counteract the storm, so everyone's just sort of flying around, and then Grendel's taking on so many people that are more powerful than she is. There's Darkhounds in there, but they're not using Balefire on them. There's Trollocs, there's infected Trollocs by Pat. It's just like total chaos at the end there. It's just kind of weird. And but I do like, you know, the main takeaway is that Rand defeating the Dark One was satisfying, even if the battle itself was not. The battle was so disjointed and all over the place, and I didn't need that much detail. I think Sanderson needed to edit down the battle a little bit, make it a couple hundred pages shorter, and, you know, give us a little bit more oomph for the death scenes if you're going to have them, right? I know it's the last book, you can kill off a lot of characters, but they should have meaning. Like Egwene, meaning. Gawain, some meaning, you know. They should have at least some kind of, you know, narrative heft to it if you're going to die. Having a character die off screen just for the hell of it is kind of dumb. And it happens a lot in this book. And even with the villains too. Like, what happened to all the Dreadlords? They're just like dead. Boom. Also, yeah, one more thing. Logain's weird redemption arc. He's basically like, he wants the staff or whatever. And Andrew comes out, they're killing children. And he's like, fine, I guess I have to go. It's just so on the nose. It just felt really like, ugh. But other than that, that's my spoiler review for A Memory of Light book 14. I just wanted to get some stuff off my chest because, you know, I have to find people that have read and we can talk about it. But so yeah, that's my review.